Okay, let's just jump right in, because today's explainer starts with a premise that's so absurd, so incredibly cinematic, it honestly sounds like pure science fiction, but I promise you it is 100% real. Picture this, it's 1977, and NASA decides to pack up a time capsule. But instead of burying it in the dirt for future humans to dig up, they launch it directly into the total absolute void of interstellar space. And the wildest part? Inside this time capsule, they included the music of Beethoven. Just imagine that for a second, the grand sweeping chords of a classical symphony just silently sailing through the complete emptiness of the cosmos. It's wild, right? This is the story of the Voyager Golden Record, which is quite literally humanity's longest distance message to the stars.
16 billion. Seriously, that's not a typo. This physical object, which, keep in mind, was launched decades before the smartphone in your pocket was even a rough concept, is currently 16 billion miles away from Earth. It's profoundly difficult for the human brain to even comprehend a distance like that. I mean, the sheer scale of isolation is just staggering. And yet this human-made object is out there, right now, surviving the harshest, coldest environment imaginable.
And it isn't just drifting out there either. It is absolutely hurtling through space, 38,000 miles per hour. That's the speed of this spacecraft as it pierces through the darkness. To put that into perspective, at 38,000 miles per hour, you could cross entire continents in a matter of minutes. And yet, in the vast, endless ocean of space, traveling at that blistering speed for over 40 years, it has barely even scratched the surface of our cosmic neighborhood.
40,000! Because even at that mind-bending speed of 38,000 miles per hour, it's going to take 40,000 years before this time capsule finally passes another star. 40 millennia from now! Human civilization as we have recorded it is only a fraction of that age. So this number right here, this represents the ultimate long game.
Part 1, A Message to the Stars, the 1977 mission context.
Part 2, Anatomy of the Golden Record, Designing for Eternity.
So let's rewind a bit. Back in 1977, NASA launched the twin spacecraft Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 on this totally unprecedented grand tour of the outer planets. But they knew these probes would eventually leave the solar system entirely and just drift in the cosmos forever, so NASA convened a special committee, led by the legendary astronomer Carl Sagan. And they decided to send a literal 12-inch copper disc, finished with gold plating. You know, in our modern era where we store entire terabytes of data on microscopic, invisible little chips, there is just something so deeply relatable, so human, about an actual physical phonograph record being sent completely out into the unknown.
But here's the crucial dilemma they faced. How do you summarize Earth on a single disk? I want you to lean in and really imagine this impossible curator's dilemma for a second. You've got one 12-inch record. That's it. And you have to capture the entire essence of humanity, the complete, vibrant, chaotic, beautiful story of our planet for an extraterrestrial audience that shares absolutely zero cultural or biological context with us. I mean, where do you even start? What actually makes the cut?
Well, here is the absolutely astonishing poetic payload they ultimately decided on. First up, music. They included everything from the classical genius of Beethoven to the pure rock and roll energy of Chuck Berry. Next, they added greetings spoken in 55 different human languages, this beautiful true chorus of our world's voices. Then, a really rich tapestry of images and sounds of Earth. But I really want to pause on this last point, because it carries so much emotional resonance. They actually included the recorded brainwaves of a young woman who had just fallen in love. The literal electrical impulses of human love pressed into a copper disc floating out there among the stars. No way, right? It's just incredible.
Part 3, 1970s Tech in Interstellar Space, the Ultimate Irony.
Now we've got to ground this incredible poetic ambition in the harsh reality of 1970s hardware. On one hand, we have this monumental, epic interstellar journey. It's humanity's greatest physical reach. But on the other hand, look at the computing specs making it all possible. It has exactly 68 kilobytes of memory. Let me just repeat that for you. 68 kilobytes. And the spacecraft receives commands from Earth at a painfully slow 16 bits per second. This billions of miles journey relies on vastly less computing power than the cheapest, most basic calculator you could buy at a drugstore today. It's this humbling and honestly almost hilarious contrast between a staggering mission scope and minuscule computing power.
Part 4. Reaching the Light-Day Milestone. Operating in the vastness of space.
Bringing things back to the present day, we've actually officially crossed a massive threshold. Voyager 1 entered interstellar space back in 2012, and Voyager 2 followed right behind it in 2018.
These were absolutely epic-defining crossings for us, because for the very first time in the entire history of our species, our creations are literally swimming in the space between the stars, completely beyond the protective bubble of our own solar system.
And that distance, it just keeps growing. Right now, it's sitting at 25.9 billion kilometers away, and this is setting the stage for a truly historic upcoming milestone. In November of 2026, the spacecraft will reach a distance of one entire light day away from Earth, meaning a command sent at the literal speed of light will take a full 24 hours just to reach the probe, and then we have to wait another 24 hours just to hear back. Talk about a lag time, right?
Part 5. Humanity's Deep Time Legacy. The ultimate fate of the Golden Record.
You know, as we reach these staggering distances, we really aren't just talking about an active space mission anymore. We're talking about humanity's deep time legacy. Let's trace this ultimate cosmic timeline. We start at the launch back in 1977. Fast forward through the decades, and we hit those monumental years of 2012 to 2018 when they officially broke into interstellar space. Then, looking ahead to November 2026, we hit that one light day mark. But it's also kind of bittersweet, because this is when they're likely going to face instrument shutoff, just to conserve the very last drops of their dwindling power. The probes will go completely dark and silent. But the timeline doesn't actually end there. We can look all the way to the year 40,272 AD, when this silent, gold-plated ambassador will finally drift past the star Gliese 445. Long after the power dies, that physical record is just going to keep going.
Which brings us to our final, mind-bending takeaway here. The Voyager Golden Record is humanity's farthest reach. It is a literal time capsule, destined to outlast the Earth itself. Long after our cities have crumbled, long after our planet is changed beyond recognition, this 12-inch disc will still be out there, intact, carrying our music, our greetings in 55 languages, and the brainwaves of a woman in love, just echoing silently into eternity. So what does it mean for all of us today, knowing that our most enduring legacy might simply be a beautifully crafted greeting, left out there in the dark?